Hello, everybody. Welcome to Hanging with Howie. And before I introduce my illustrious panel, we've got to thank our longtime sponsor, DJEventPlanner.com, and all our other sponsors will be down below when this is published to YouTube and other places as well. So let me go right to left and welcome, buddy. Thank you for being here. Eric, thank you for being here. Aaron, thank you. And Matt, we have. And oh my gosh, there's a new guy, Jay. Jay Brannon, I think. Yeah, I think I've heard of him. And last but not least, my road dog, John Coley.
Hey now.
Thank you. Always thorough.
Good to see you, Howie.
Okay, guys, I got
all right, I'll go first.
Suggestion.
What?
I'm gonna make up for last time.
Here, and I'll just I'll read the thing to you. Make of it what you will, but I know that this group of people, when this kind of thing comes up in those forums, the different groups, oh my gosh, the negative people come out. They're not about the solution to problems, but here I feel more comfortable, putting this out to you guys because I know you won't be difficult and you may be able to help some people. I'm sure, especially the newcomers, when they come upon this challenge. And here's the question. How do you handle situations with difficult people, whether they be from the venue or other vendors involved with the event? For example, if I go to a site inspection and they want me set up in an inconvenient spot, how do I phrase things so that I come off as assertive instead of aggressive? So make of it what you will.
I will go first.
All right.
This is really poignant. I had a wedding on this past Saturday. And when I did the site inspection, I was in the middle of the room with the dance floor in front of me. And when I got there on Saturday, I was in the far corner. And just to give you a heads up, this was on a golf course. And I needed to be 100% battery operated for the ceremony. So I was already anxious because I had a battery that was tested, but I didn't test it during a real live ceremony. So I was very nervous to begin with because I'm like, what if I look at the battery and it suddenly goes 2%? And they haven't finished, we always go worst case scenario to be prepared. And the coordinator was there and I said, hey, I can't help but notice the other day, like 2 days ago when I was here, we talked about me being in the middle of the room. I'm curious how I ended up over here, just because there's now 2 tables directly in front of me. And my experience in weddings is that the tables closest to the DJ inevitably are the oldest people in the room. And the coordinator kind of snickered. She goes, oh, that was the choice of the bride. I said, okay. That was the end of it. I showed up, and God is my witness. The grandparents were at this table on my right, and the groom's grandparents were on this table to my left. And I simply walked up to them and said, hey guys, after ceremony cocktail outside, I'm really sorry. It's a little loud right now. It'll be quieter for dinner, but when dancing starts, I have to get the music over there. So I guess the example / answer is when you're at a venue, your fight for what you want can't seem as personal.
Right.
Because what your fight should be about is for your client and the benefit of the event. So if you find you're put behind tables, you can point out the negatives and you can point out a relocation as a positive, but don't make it about your inconvenience. Make it about the guests. And I've had venues go, we're going to put you over there. And I'm like, is it possible to be over there instead? Well, we already have tables there. I'm like, but if you were to flip it, right? I said, here's my, this is how you do this. Here's my concern. The guests over here are really going to be upset after dinner. Versus if I'm in the middle, there's no one but the people in front of me that are dancing that are going to really catch the brunt of the music. So don't get caught up in the, I have a business, I'm a DJ, look at me.
Right.
Instead, focus solely on the person paying you and the one having the event, because it's not about you. Right. Yes, it reflects on you if you're in a bad location. Yes, it makes you look less than professional sometimes. But you know what? In reality, at the end of the day, nobody's judging you on where you set up. They're judging you on the performance. They're judging you on the quality, on the choice of music. That's what they're judging. The other day, I think Buddy is the one, I'm giving him a prop, who I think turned me on to this.
For once.
They wanted acoustic covers for Prelude, and I played, I'll probably mess up the name, so correct me if you would, either Boyce or Bryce Avenue?
Boyce, yeah.
Boyce Avenue. You had mentioned it one night in here. I ended up acquiring a 60-minute mix of Boyce Avenue acoustic songs. I had 3 people come up and go, who is this? I go, oh, this is Boyce Avenue. Oh, I love this. This is perfect for this. We're outside, the sun's setting. I'm like, and it was based solely on someone saying acoustic covers and me going, oh, Buddy one time mentioned this acoustic thing that I downloaded. Yeah, let me grab that. So don't take this as a chip on your shoulder.
Right.
You got an ultimate job to do, which is to make someone's special day special. Lose the attitude, lose the it's about me, and you'll probably end up being better with anyone that isn't going along with you. Now, because they've got to understand who's paying.
Jay, one thing I noticed in the beginning of your soliloquy here was that I would bet my entire system that the way you explained it to us here was the way you talked to them. Very calm, reasonable, and soothing. So, I would like to go next.
In this room?
I'll go next. Oh. Well, okay, go ahead, buddy.
Go ahead, buddy.
Well, thank you, Jay, for using some stuff that I use. But the one thing I'm blessed on, and I wish she was here, is my wife Tracy, because she works with me, and it's nice having that other person that you can go up to. You can voice your displeasure to that person, and then the two of you can formulate a good answer to talk to someone at the facility, because you can't, again, Jay is 100% right. You can't blame the facility manager. You can't blame the person at the facility. They're doing what someone somewhere put on a piece of paper, said, DJ here, table here, blah, 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 blah. And, last year, I showed you guys a wedding I did that I was blocked by 4 or 5 tables to the dance floor, and I was off to the side. And that's what they always put the DJ at. And, I had displeasure in it, but, Tracy's like, it is what it is. And we talked about it, but it's nice having someone you talk to. So I think sometimes that people need to stop and think what they're going to say and compose themselves and do what Jay says. You attract more flies with honey, you do it with vinegar. And maybe if you don't have that extra person there, maybe have a friend that you can call, a phone a friend kind of thing, and say, hey, so-and-so, I got this going on at this wedding. I don't know what I should do. And let them vent, say, hey, Eric can call me up, and Eric can say, hey, buddy, I got this wedding that's driving me crazy. I'm stuck to the ceiling, Velcro to the ceiling. You want me to DJ upside down, wherever it is.
Right.
And he can at least vent to me and give his displeasure, but then I can say, okay, and be supportive of them and say, hey, you know what? Maybe talk to him about this, saying, hey, I need, I don't want to hurt people's ears. And if the venue's like, no, it's up to the couple, or it's up to the person who have the corporate, entity, or whoever it is that's running the event, then maybe you go up to them and say, hey, just to let you know, I'm over here. Is that something you'd put me over there for a reason? Is there because the fact that there's people in front, I don't want to blow them out, or I don't want to do this,
right?
And explain to them, because a lot of times they don't understand how sound works. They don't do this every weekend like we do here. So it's one of the things that explaining to them, they're like, oh, really? Yeah, you go ahead, move where you need to move it to. And then they can explain to the facility manager and say, hey, yeah, let's move a few things around and move a table around. And that sometimes you had to do that. But again, having an extra person to bounce off of, having that phone friend, sometimes helps out, because you go in really mad and angry and you're red faced and you're basically demanding, they're not going to do anything for you.
No.
But you go in humble and say, hey, can I please? It's kind of like, Oliver Twist, please, might have more. You kind of have that kind of thing going on. They're more likely going to say, oh, I'm sorry, here's the extra bowl of, of porridge, Yeah. All right, Eric, you're anxious, and I understand your limo's waiting outside for you, so go ahead.
My limo is waiting, yes. I'm glad you pointed that out. To Jay's point and Buddy's point, they are on point 100%. I had a wedding about a month ago. Whatever, it doesn't matter the date. And if you could picture the room, I'm in the corner. There's 5 tables in front of me. Then there's a nice fireplace, and the dance floor is in front of that.
Oh, my.
And they're like, well, this is where we always put the DJs. And I get what Buddy's saying, try to work with them. But some venues are like, no, this is our routine. This is what we do. That's it. And it could be the bride and groom or the bride, and say, okay, that's fine. We want this venue. We want that fireplace. That's fine. So I didn't talk to anybody about it. Instead, what I did was, and I was going to go wireless with the speakers. I was going to put one on each side of the fireplace, aim into the dance floor. And at the last minute, I decided to run XLR because I was not sure how it was going to work. I didn't have much time, to test the wireless out there. And so I ran XLR, and it was well out of the way. Everybody was happy. And see, a lot of DJs, and I'm not saying this to be rude, some DJs want to be in the spotlight, I don't care if they put me in a closet, as long as I can hear what I'm saying and what you're playing, You don't need to be in the spotlight. So I didn't mind being in that corner.
Right.
But I didn't want to have to fight through 4 or 5 tables saying, turn it down, which is what was going to happen. And unlike Buddy, I did not talk to anybody in the venue. I just did what I had to do to make it work. And that's all I got to say. I mean,
all right.
Everybody's got different points of view, but
thank you, Eric.
Yeah.
Who would like to go next? There's only 3 left of you.
Yeah, I guess I'll take a run.
Road dog.
Road Dog's got words.
Road Dog's talking, huh?
Yeah. Pearls of wisdom here. No, it's a lot of the times with venues, you end up in those situations because there's too many cooks in the kitchen. Like you spoke with manager A when you went in for the walkthrough, and now manager C is working and they've rewritten the script. Yep. So keep good notes. Say, well, I spoke with so-and-so on this day and date, and here's a photo of the floor plan that I took a picture of, and you'll just get some that are adamant, like, no, this is the way I want it because this is how I run it. And they, those people make it all about them and not serving the clients. Like the changes came, that morning when that person got there and decided I'm going to make everybody's day miserable. So you try to be cordial. You try to explain. I mean, if you can't right fight, you don't want to get aggressive, and you want the best outcome for the client. Say, well, if I set up here, here's the result. If you're making me do this, because this isn't what we discussed, this isn't the bride and groom's plan, you could just hit a wall of no there, and you've got to find a way to overcome it. And like what Eric said, wiring the speakers to a spot where you thought you should have been, if you can do it safely, tape everything down. Your sound is technically there, even though you're over off in the dark corner, but you don't want to be the center of attention on the wedding day anyway. So take that as a win. It's like you got it where it was supposed to be, and you untangled the knotted wire and made it work. for lack of a better term. But for to the point of the person who asked the questions, like how do I formulate it? It's keep calm, speak reasonably, and try to justify the point. It's not what the DJ wants. It's what for the betterment of the event and what the guests are going to have to suffer through, especially like Jay's situation with the grandparents in the firing line of the speakers. Just say this doesn't make sense, and you're going to have complaints against your venue. Maybe you paint that kind of picture and say it would be better if, or might I suggest that, but don't tell them what to do, and then hopefully they're willing to work with you and cooperate. That's kind of what I got.
Well, thank you, John. All right. You guys want to do rock, paper, scissors to, Aaron or Matt?
Rock always wins.
I don't know.
Paper beats rock.
I'll go last. Go ahead, Matt.
Okay. Look at that Canadian friendliness over there. That's awesome. Appreciate you. Versus Southern hospitality, right? So, I mean, basically what it is, you've been hired to be a part of an event. And, for most of us, they're hiring DJ Matt Ames, but it's not happening at DJ Matt Ames Hall. It's not, I'm not, I'm going somewhere that they have, the clients have booked in terms of a place that they trust with the layout of things, with those decisions. I may be working with a coordinator who they trust with the flow of their entire day, not just in terms of music and sound.
Good point.
And really, it's just, it's a lot of team effort, but, I do think sometimes if you are in a situation where you do have some legitimate concerns, such as those that have been brought up, it's worth voicing those. It's worth getting those out. And if the answer is still no, we have to do it this way, then you've said your piece at that point. And I guess at that point, all you can do is just make the best of it, sort of make the lemonade with it. And at that point, you're just concentrating on what you got hired to do to the best of your abilities, given the circumstances. So it's there's going to be difficult people in this business a lot, and you can be assertive, and assertiveness does not always change the outcome either. And you just have to kind of go with the punches sometimes.
I'm going to take one for the team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, Aaron from the Great White North.
Hello, everybody.
Take off.
You betcha. Doing the weddings and stuff, one of the things that I hate saying to these people, like the coordinators and the couples even, and the venue is probably the one that bugs me. The one that irks me the most is when I show up to a venue, they throw me in the corner, dance floors on the other side of the room, and they say, that's how we've always done it.
Yes.
When I hear those words, I just roll my eyes, I look at them, and I said, just because the first person did it wrong doesn't mean I should have to do it wrong as well.
Correct.
And I try to be nice about it, though I don't say it that bluntly. I try to sugarcoat it a bit and be like, well, this is a beautiful room. This is great. I said, if you look at your roof, you look at the walls, you look at the glass, the sound isn't going to be as good as it could be if we move it to here. I said, your couple's going to have a better experience. People are going to complain less if we do this. I try to go through the reason, try to go through the rhyme. And then I've also had it, as others have mentioned in here, where they said it was up to the bride and the groom. They changed the room. And I will go talk to them during dinner and say, hey, listen, do you mind if we just do a tweak here? Just so I can just get me, like, I like when I'm DJing, and I say this, I like to perform a bit more. And it's not about me, but it's about me interacting with them. It's about them getting the best of me that I can do. And the only way I can do that is if they are as close to me as possible. Like I know for a fact that when I've DJ'd in the corner and the dance floor is in the middle, I don't do as good of a job. I know it. And I know that I interact better with them when I'm feeding off their energy. They're feeding off my energy, and we're together and we're all having a party together. It's not about me being a star, none of that stuff. It's about me performing as best as I can with them, for them. And I always find that if they throw the DJ in the corner, because that's the way we've always done it, I don't do as good of a job. So I try to relay that to the coordinator or to the venue and just say, hey, listen, just because my style's a little different maybe than the last guy, I would love to be right on the dance floor. If we could just slide a table this way, maybe when I'll even help you, I will help you make the room look great. And then I'll throw my lights in here and it'll look fantastic. And trust me, the end of the night, you're going to be surprised at how good it does sound, because I know sound and I know what it does in a room just from 25 years of doing this. Just trust me on this one. It'll be great. If I'm wrong, please let me know. No, at the end of the night, if you don't like it, let's circle back and we'll discuss it.
Well, thank you, Matt.
But for the person that posted, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Howie.
No, are you running the show? Go ahead.
No, I'm not running the show. Go ahead. I just had a question for Aaron. That's all.
No, I think you've all made great points, and I'm going to take a turn here. And,
Howie, give it.
I actually, I'm more like Jay. I'm really, calm voice, and hey, this would really benefit you and the couple better. I know maybe it's the way you've always done it, but let's try a little something different if it's possible. And if it's not possible, and look, if you've been in this business as a DJ full time, if you haven't been stuck in a corner, you haven't done very many events. But what I had done was I got the wireless, body packs and mics and the whole bit. Now, the same thing that I use for, the ceremony, I can use that and put that on the speakers and then put them, like either side of the table or the sweetheart table. And yeah, I'm in the corner and there's grandma and grandpa on a few tables, but I don't mind. That's why I'm the dark star. I don't need to be seen, but I need the music to hit the dance floor without disturbing anyone. So, it was a big investment, for those wireless, things that I got. I've got the body packs for the mics and the receivers and whatnot. So actually, the receiver would be on the speaker naturally, and the music would go that way. And then I don't know, is it like a few weeks later, I had a friend call me up. It's a DJ in the area, and he goes, "Hey, thanks a lot, Howie." I go, "What's the matter?" He goes, "Well, I was at this event and they stuck me in the corner, and they said, I tried to reason with them to move. And I said, well, that's the way we always did. The last DJ that was here, was able to do it. And he put the speakers in. I said, well, dude, if that's how it's going to be, it might be worth the investment. I mean, how often are you working? $1,500 for two units. It's worth it, So anyway, go ahead there, Eric. What do you got?
I was just going to ask Aaron, like when you said, okay, let's change it up here. Have you had much luck with that question with the venues?
I'm going to say I'm about 50-50 on that.
Yeah, 50-50.
It's not. It doesn't usually ever fall in our favor. I try to explain it as best I can without being a jerk or without over explaining or what they call mansplaining or whatever. I try to be reasonable and be fair and be just to them. And I tell them, you know what, your night's going to go so much better if I'm there. And I try to emphasize it. I said, it's just my style and who I am and the way I am and the way I do things. The way I've always done things like this because of this. But you know what, if you can't move it, I said, if we're locked down and this is the way it is, I'll do the best I can from back there.
So that's probably the answer to this guy's question of Howie. It's probably 50-50,
probably
depending on how you
50-50.
answer it.
Some will let you, some won't, and
Right.
maybe to some you'll actually show them a new way.
I
And
don't know.
at the end of the night, you put a bow on it. You ask them, "How'd you like that compared to how you've always done it?" And they're like,
I have
"It's a new way we're gonna
had
do
two
it."
venues come back. I had two venues come back and say, "Wow, that was really good." And that the one venue said the bartender was very happy that you didn't blast them in the face because you were facing the other way. So the bartender said, "Thank you." I said, "Well, that was one of the people I was worried about because they're directly in the line of the speaker. The bartender's directly in front of the speaker. So putting me in the middle, it put me off to the side of the dance floor, in line parallel with the dance floor, not adjacent to the side because the angles are wrong." But yeah, they were happy at the end. I've had a venue say, "You know what? We're changing it to the way you're doing it. This is way better."
Yeah, now they're going to be telling other DJs, "This is how we always do it."
But I want to be in the corner. Like, no,
You're going to take credit for it. You're going to be like, "Oh, this is how we always do it."
We always focus the sound of the dance floor. What do you think we are?
Yeah.
Right. All right. Does anybody else have anything they'd like to add before we put a fork in this?
I hope some wedding coordinators are watching this. I really do. I hope some event planners out there are watching this and saying, "Hey,
well,
reasonable."
What I do is I've done this with a lot of things where people ask me questions, and Jay knows. I mean, in Messenger or whatever, you're always getting every day. People are asking you for advice, and I have a little tiny cheat sheet of the most common things that are asked. And it's a link to a YouTube video that Brian or Jay or I have done. And I go, I hope this will be helpful, and that's the end of it. Then I don't have to spend my whole afternoon, mansplaining things. So, hey guys, thanks a lot. This was terrific. I figured it would go this way. And hey, everybody, come leave your comments in the down below. And you have something you want to talk about? Let me know. Until next week, we'll